All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're putting on our data detective hats. We're going to investigate how the UAE ride-hailing and delivery giant, Careem, literally transforms an overwhelming mountain of online chatter into actual, hard-hitting business strategy. We'll be looking at a real-life scenario to see exactly how a massive company applies social listening in a super fast-paced environment. It's a really fascinating journey from raw data to real-world solutions, and I am so excited to walk you through it.
So here is our investigative roadmap for today. First, noise versus the signal. Second, the social listening framework. Third, uncovering the root cause. And finally, number 4, closing the feedback loop.
Kicking things off with Section 1, Noise versus the Signal. Let's examine the completely messy crime scene that every modern brand faces today. Just imagine staring at a massive mountain of 50,000 brand mentions. I mean, what are those people actually saying? It is incredibly easy to just get completely lost in that sheer volume. As a business, you're kind of left to guess, right? Are your customers furious about a service outage? Are they thrilled about a new feature? Or, maybe they're just sharing a promo code with a friend. Traditional social media monitoring, it passively tells you, hey, your brand was mentioned 50,000 times this month. But on its own, that's really just a vanity metric. It doesn't actually help you run your business.
And that right there illustrates the fundamental shift we have to make. We absolutely must move away from blindly tracking volume to actively seeking out the context behind those conversations. Think about the difference between a robot blindly counting numbers and a real human detective uncovering the why and the how behind customer feelings. Active listening asks real investigative questions, like why are people talking? What's causing this specific conversation right now? And, most importantly, what should we as a business actually do about it? That's a massive shift. You're going from just hoarding data to seeking out real, actionable business insights.
All right, moving on to Section 2, the social listening framework. Let's open up the detective's toolkit to see exactly how this is built to make sense of all that noise.
To see the full picture and answer those deeper investigative questions, a company like Careem builds its listening system around 5 vital dimensions of digital insight. First up, you have volume. How much chatter is actually out there? Then there's sentiment. Is the overall mood positive, neutral, or negative? Next are the topics, like what exactly are people discussing? Then you look at influence. Who is actually generating all this attention? And finally, trends. Are there sudden, unexpected spikes in specific complaints? You absolutely need all 5 of these dimensions working together if you want to see the complete picture.
So, armed with specialized platforms, brands can filter out all that irrelevant noise and do some serious heavy lifting. You can kind of think of this as the actual hardware in our detective's toolkit. For instance, they use BrandWatch for complex Boolean searches. That lets you isolate super specific complaints, say expensive surge pricing in Dubai, while filtering out all the irrelevant chatter. Then there's TalkWalker, which gives Careem the power to see exactly how their share of voice and sentiment stacks up against a giant competitor like Uber. And finally, Sprout Social connects the listening directly to customer care. It literally routes a frustrated tweet straight to the service team instantly, so they can actually do something about it.
Now, this specific concept, aspect-based sentiment analysis, it literally reveals exactly where, when, and why customer friction happens. It totally prevents us from lazily flagging a tweet as just negative. Seriously, aspect-based sentiment analysis is a real game changer. It takes a simple "I'm angry" tweet and digs way, way deeper. It identifies the specific emotion, like frustration. It isolates the topic, like a ride cancellation. It pinpoints the exact location, say Dubai Marina. And it even identifies the specific stage in the customer journey, like the booking phase. Basically, it transforms raw emotion into a highly precise, highly actionable data point.
Okay, Section 3, uncovering the root cause. It is time to investigate an actual anomaly. We're going to move from insight to action by looking at some real month-over-month dashboard data. So while most complaints held steady with just single-digit increases, dashboard data suddenly showed this massive, flashing red light, a huge spike in ride cancellation conversations. This was our smoking gun. To give you some context here, pricing complaints were up 75%, which, is definitely significant. But look at that ride cancellations number, up 111%. I mean, wow! This isn't just everyday noise. This is a crystal clear signal that something is fundamentally broken in the service. And it's exactly the kind of anomaly our data detectives need to investigate further.
By drilling down and clustering the topics behind this specific spike, the data revealed a staggering 65% negative sentiment. And through topic modeling, they found out that customers weren't just generally annoyed. No, they were specifically frustrated by drivers canceling rides after already accepting them, which, as you can imagine, was often leaving the customer facing unexpected cancellation fees. That level of granular detail,
It's absolute gold for a business trying to fix a leak. They now knew exactly what the pain point was.
Let's map this onto the customer journey for a second to see exactly where the wheels are falling off. You've got awareness, app download, booking, driver arrival, the ride itself, and finally payment. Well, our evidence shows the entire experience is breaking down specifically in that critical gap right between step 3, booking, and step 4, driver arrival. So customers aren't actually unhappy with the ride itself, they're just furious about waiting around only to get canceled on before the ride even starts.
But guys, here's where the real magic happens. By merging these social media clues with Careem's own internal operational data, they narrowed down the exact location, Dubai, and the exact time of the problem, evening peak hours, right between 6 p.m. and 9 p.m. They didn't just find a random complaint on the internet. By combining social data with business data, they found the literal root cause of the entire cancellation spike.
Which brings us to Section 4, closing the feedback loop. Did our investigation actually fix the business? Because, let's be real, tracking digital health is great, but true success is measured by actual business impact.
If you take away just one thing from this explainer, please let it be this powerful reminder. Knowing why people are mad means absolutely nothing unless you use that data to actually fix the business. In this specific case, finding out people are furious about cancellations is completely useless if you don't go in and actually fix the driver incentives or, tweak the cancellation fee policies. The ultimate test is whether those actions actually lowered the real-world cancellation rate and improved customer retention.
This social listening cycle visual summarizes this continuous process perfectly. Just look at how structured it is. First, you listen to the platforms. Then, you analyze the sentiment and topics to understand the why. Next, you identify the specific insight. Then, and this is crucial, you act on it operationally to fix things, like those driver incentives and communication. Finally, you measure the business impact and loop right back around to optimize the service. It completely proves that learning from your audience is not just a one-and-done thing. It's an active, continuous, and highly structured process. Before, a spike in mentions tells you exactly what to fix. After, you fix it, you measure it, and you just keep on listening.
So, I'm going to leave you with this final provocative thought to chew on as you prepare to put on your own data detective hats at work. Are you just out there counting your brand mentions, letting all that noise just wash over you? Or are you actually listening to what your data is desperately trying to teach you? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. I really hope it leaves you eager to dig much, much deeper into the actual conversations surrounding your own business.